Hey man, I want to make money online, but I don't want to do anything. Is that cool? It's not super cool. Nobody just gets money handed to them. They usually have to do something for it. Are you willing to learn? I don't really want to hang around and watch a video and stuff because free information kind of sucks. Right, okay, so what are you willing to do? Are you willing to do any work? Are you willing to try or open your mind up to something new? Because you can actually start doing this with a little bit of effort if you actually pay attention. Fine, okay, I'll pay attention. What are you going to teach me? You going to teach me how to make money? Well, actually, today I'm going to show you guys how to market to local businesses, and then you can actually make money doing it. And it's kind of easy. You want to see how it's done? Let's take a look. So let's talk a little bit about the strategy. Let's hop over to the whiteboard. Strategy is we're going to do some research on ads. Specifically, we're going to look at what companies are paying cost per click, CPC. So that means that you're a business, let's say you're a plumber or a lawyer, you pay per click to advertise your company, and that means that you're spending outbound money, let's say between $10 and $100. And the example that I'm going to show you, they're spending probably upwards of $100, maybe $150 per click. So I'll show you guys that in a moment, but right now let's just focus. So talking about the ads, they're paying cost per click. What we're going to do next is we're going to actually do the Google search, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at what comes up, and we're going to reverse engineer our success, okay? So we're going to actually see what comes up. We're going to use a site to research, and then once we research the site, we're going to find low competition, easy keywords to rank for. This is the organic traffic that we're going to offer to our potential customers. All right? So basically, if we can create content for them for these low competition keywords, then the amount of money that they would have to spend on the ads actually goes down significantly. Because if they're, let's say they're spending $100 a click or $150 a click, within 10 clicks, they're already at $1,000 in ad spend, okay? So $1,000 in ad spend. Very fast, they spend a lot of money. Now, if you came in and you said, I can actually create content for these low competition keywords, get you ranking in Google for them, and you pay me, let's say $500 or even $1,000. Well, this is organic traffic. This traffic is going to start coming to you naturally, and it's recurring. It's going to keep coming back. So instead of spending $10 a click, $100 a click, getting 10 people that come and go, now we can get 10 people basically for free over and over and over again. So this is a very compelling sale to a potential customer because they actually save a lot of money in the long run if they're showing up for this stuff naturally. So what we want to do is we want to show them that they can actually do this, and for the same amount of money that they would spend to get 10 people, well, now we can bring them 10 to 1,000 people per month by spending the initial $1,000 with us. Okay, so it's a reallocation of funds. And if you're going for the right business, if you're going for a business that makes a lot of money, like a law firm, or a realtor, or a doctor, stuff like that, well then this cost means a lot less to them. And that means that this cost means a lot less to them. So they always say, sell to the rich, and that's exactly what we're going to do. All right, so first up, you'll want to head to ads.google.com, and that is where you're going to find the keyword planner. It's over here on the side under tools. It's the first thing that you see, keyword planner. You could click this. This is a free tool. Anybody can use this as long as you have a Google account. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to narrow the focus, right? So right now it's automatically set to United States. I mentioned earlier, we want to focus in on a specific area. So I'm going to go for New York County, because that's actually going to be the island of Manhattan. And that is what I want to use for this example. So we'll click save. So now we're just focused in on Manhattan. And you could do this for your local area. In fact, if you're going to be doing this kind of work where you're cold calling people and trying to get business, I highly suggest that you do it in the area that you live in, because it's a natural icebreaker to say like, hey, I live in the area, I came across your business. Then you go into your sale where you start talking about what it is that you have to offer. And it's a lot easier to get in the door if you're being truthful and if you're actually nearby. If you're lying, then don't lie. I don't like that. All right, so we're going to click here. We're going to type in law, and I'll just show you guys the advertising spend that some of these companies are spending right now. So for instance, we could see here, this is the average search per month, the keyword that people are looking up, and this is top and low end of the bidding ranges that these businesses would be spending. So we're looking at between $22 and $150 a click for personal injuries. A lot of accident lawyer type stuff here at the top, but you look at these costs, okay? $47, $230. This is a lot of money that these businesses are spending. And if you look at the actual amount of people that are searching this stuff, right? So car accident lawyer near me, 1,000 to 10,000 people a month are looking this up. And remember, we are narrowed in on New York County, all right? So this is a ton of traffic, and it is a ton of ad spend that is going right out the door. Now, obviously, their ads better be converting if they're spending that kind of money, but let's just say at 1,000 people, 1,000 searches a month, at $200, you're looking at basically $200,000 worth of ad spend in a given month. And that is literally the low end of car accident lawyer near me. Now, the real question is, are these law firms making that money back and more? You're damn right. That's those million-dollar, multi-million-dollar lawsuits. So this ad spend actually makes sense, because for the $200,000, it might bring in a case that nets them $800,000 or more. So that is really a key point when you're doing your research, is just kind of keep that in mind of who you're selling to. If we're targeting a law business or a real estate business or HVAC or whatever it is, you really want to have an understanding of what they're doing and why they're willing to spend what they're spending, because that is ultimately how you're going to get yourself in the door. So we can see here, we got our keywords. That's all well and good. So let's actually do a Google search now for lawyer. So we're just going to do a search for lawyer, and we're going to look at what comes up, okay? Now, this is geographically located for me. Obviously, the results will always be different, but we want to find a website to use as our, basically to dig in and see what they show up for. So I actually found this earlier, Find a Lawyer, this New York City bar site, and I have a feeling it's going to be a good one. I didn't put this into the tool yet, so we're just going to take the slug, we'll go over to the keyword tool, drop it in, and this is just so we can get some ideas, all right? So they got some traffic, they got some keywords. Let's take a look. And it's a mix of lowish competition and pretty high competition, okay? So that's not exactly what we're looking for. We need to dig a little deeper, okay? So we were looking at, in here, we were looking at accident lawyer, okay? So let's do a search for that, accident lawyer. So right here at the top, we've got those really expensive ads, okay? And just a key note about this, if you're trying to build your business, if you're trying to do this stuff, the people that are already advertising are probably going to be your best bet. And that is because they're already spending the money, and you don't have to convince them that it's important to do this kind of stuff. There's a lot of businesses that you might come across that have like 1 star, no, the website sucks, whatever. It's definitely an opportunity to help them out. However, there's a lot less that you need to explain when you're talking to a company that's willing to spend this money already. So they're already in it to win it, and it's just something to keep in mind. So we've got here a bunch of a sponsored link, some results. Let's take a look here. GareGare.com. So this is the first result here, and they're coming up for New York City. We got Rosenbaum. Let's take a look at Rosenbaum. Okay, so we've got a website here, Accident Lawyer, decent content. Let's take a look. We'll put it into the tool. We'll see what they show up for. All right, so we've got a really nice spread here, and we've got ourselves an opportunity right here. These two, distracted driving accident attorney and lawyer. We've got about 3,000 searches a month, 0 competition. Very easy to show up for. This is important for whoever it is that we're going to go after, because their website may or may not be strong. They might have a one-page site that doesn't really show up for anything at all. We don't want to go after these higher competition things because they really don't have a chance at showing up. And if we want to do the best job that we actually can do, we want to go after these low competition keywords. Here's another one. Hit and run accident lawyer. Okay, 1,100 searches, 0 competition. Now keep in mind, these results are nationwide. It is not narrowed down to New York City. However, you can be damn sure that these things are actually searched for, especially if you live in a city like this. There's a lot of hit and runs. Let's look at distracted driving lawyer. Let's see what we come up with. Let's see if we can find what they might be paying. So, distracted driver attorney, distracted driver lawyer. I'm actually going to copy these as well. Let's just see, because I think they're a little bit different. Yes, they are. Okay, get results. So we can see here that people are not advertising. Okay, so that's a double opportunity. One being that you can try to help these companies actually rank for these keywords. Two, if you know your stuff, if you know how to do it, run an ad, you can also run an ad campaign for them, because this might seem like a little bit of traffic, but again, this one is actually geolocated. So we're looking at between 10 and 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people a month. And then we've got a whole bunch of other traffic here. Let's say that there's between 100 and 1,500 searches a month on the high end. Well, again, they just need to get one case in the door to pay for your services, the ad spend, and whatever, because these are multi-million-dollar lawsuits. So this is like very low-hanging fruit. It's very cheap for them because you can get the ads for cents on the dollar, apparently. So imagine spending $100 for an ad and getting a multi-million-dollar lawsuit out of it. Very compelling stuff. So we've got our research done. So now let's take a look at Google Maps and let's see if we can figure out where to point our message, okay? So let's do distracted driving. And if you guys are liking this kind of video, please drop a comment down below. Let me know, because I enjoy doing these kinds of things. It's kind of like an exploration process, and I think it's fun, but I need to know that you guys are digging it. So distracted driving lawyer. Let's see what comes up. Okay, so we've got a bunch of companies, right? These are all law firms that come up for distracted driving lawyer. You can see here, these guys are advertising, okay? So it's not being advertised. People are spending money. So realistically, would you be spending cents on the dollar for this? Probably not, at least not where I am located, not in this area, because we do have somebody bidding for it, okay? So actually, now that I see that, let's go back to Google and see if anybody's advertising there. And we see that there is an ad. We got an ad. So people probably are spending some decent change on this. And so it's definitely not going to be bottom of the barrel cost, but that's okay. But we've got all these companies. Now let's see here. Martin Crone Associates. Let's check their website. Okay. They've got literally a page. The first thing, New York Traffic Lawyer. Okay. They're showing up on the homepage for this. Let's just, out of curiosity, let's just take a look at the keyword tool and see what comes up. Let's see if they rank for these keywords. Did I mess that up? I just threw a plus sign in there. Okay, so they're actually killing it. Tons of traffic, right? So they've lost a lot in the last month. Okay, more than 50%. They've lost a ton of keywords. We could actually see that they were riding high back in December. Average organic traffic, 6,500 searches a month. Okay. Pay no attention to the traffic value at 16,000. Again, this is law stuff. This is way more expensive than that. And then we can see it drops. So in January, end of January, boom, they kind of dropped and fell off. Let's take a look here. We've got even better keywords to go after, right? So what does indefinite suspension mean? So it's people that had their licenses suspended. Services that lawyers offer, right? Ticket lawyer. Fire hydrant tickets, right? People fighting those. Junior license, restricted license, etc. Let's see if we got distracted in here. So distracted doesn't even come up. So they're not even though they show up at the top here, they're not even ranking for it on their own website. So let's actually do the due diligence here. I will add the filter. Could add a filter. So this is going to be any keywords that show up with or containing distracted. So let's see if anything shows up here. Okay. So we've got distracted driving ticket. They're showing up number 67. Ticket for distracted driving, position 30. This page is what's showing up. So for instance, if I wanted to help these guys out and provide them with some kind of plan, what I would do is I would basically tell them, I really want to work on this page. You're going to pay me some good money to work on this page. Obviously, you'd want to package it up. You'd want to put it into some kind of good deal. You want to do good work. You don't really want to guarantee stuff that you can't deliver on, but you can kind of like put forth like, hey, this page is suffering. This page is actually losing you a lot of money, and here's the proof. Because there is a ton of traffic for this stuff, and you guys can really boost your business in a huge way if you just focus here. So now the real question is, what do you do next, right? Well, I would highly recommend that you reach out to these companies and be a nice person. Give them a call, say, hey, I was poking around your site. I may or may not live in the area. This is the stuff that I see on your site that's going on. I think I can help you in this very targeted, very specific way. Because again, these companies are spending thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars a month on advertising. If you can come in with a solution that says, hey, by the way, I can't guarantee that you're going to rank, but you already show up for X, Y, and Z, and I believe that if I tweak your page, I can get you ranking for this keyword that gets a ton of traffic. It's a very compelling offer because, again, the $1,000 to you to make the difference might save them $100,000 or $1 million in a year. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this stuff, because there are some businesses really making large amounts of money. And that's going to do it for this video. If you like what I do, if you want some hands-on help, one-on-one coaching, head to mattmakesmoney.com. I've got an email opt-in list you can join, and I've got a booking link where you could actually book me for a call. I will sit with you, share my screen, show you what I know. If you have a specific niche that you're working in, if you own a business and you're trying to do this for yourself, it's a super inexpensive way to get started, and I'll catch you guys very soon.